When I was going through my breakup, I had no idea what to do. I don't really date girls very often. In fact, hardly ever. I'm an introvert. I'm very shy. I only really come out of my shell around people who I've known for some time. Then I'm a blast. I'm funny, I'm witty. In fact, I can't stop talking when I'm in my comfort zone. But this was not comfortable. This was a nightmare. What made things worse for me is that I couldn't even ask friends for advice. I couldn't confide in them because I felt raw and vulnerable. It's very difficult to lay out all your problems in front of other people for them to see and dissect. It leaves you completely exposed. And anyway, my friends wouldn't have been able to advise because they don't have that kind of experience. So that wasn't an option. So I did the only thing that I could. I searched for advice online. Now, there's a ton of advice out there, from tips to who knows what, but none of it worked for me. It wasn't helping me. I think maybe one reason is that I ended up with a million tips, each from a different person, so everything was disjointed. The whole thing became a wall of noise. I realized then that I was on my own, and that made me feel even worse. I just had no idea where to start. The constant mind chatter was the worst thing to endure every moment of every day. My mind was stuck in a loop, playing constantly, non-stop. I honestly thought at one point that it would never end. The other stuff that comes as part of a breakup isn't fun either. I was dealing with super low self-esteem, zero confidence, and a mind that made it impossible for me to stop thinking about the past. It was an impossible situation. I tried stuff, of course, but nothing seemed to work. Then one day, I had my breakthrough moment, and everything changed. Suddenly I understood why all that advice online didn't help. It missed the point. I was at work, at my desk, staring at a screen full of code. I was coding a program to change the way in which we did things in the company to a new, more effective way. But I was struggling to focus through the mind fog. And I started thinking how a breakup steals your mental resources and makes you malfunction. It stops you from performing. Suddenly I was struck by the similarity to a virus. That's exactly what a virus does. It steals resources so that the system is unable to perform as it should. It sucks you dry, drains you to the point where you feel sick, empty, unable to think properly. I sat there staring at the screen with my mouth open. I didn't know exactly why, but I knew that this was a turning point. I knew I had stumbled onto something that nobody else had noticed. I just wasn't sure how to move forward with this. I just knew that I had to keep thinking along this track. And I did. I drove home completely immersed in this thought. At home, I grabbed pen and paper and scribbled frantically. Ideas, thoughts. This was definitely a virus, and I understood viruses. I was on familiar territory. This was my playing ground. I asked myself, how do I defeat this virus inside of me? This thing that is completely grinding me to a halt. The answer was immediate. Disrupt it. I had to disrupt the virus. But how? How exactly do you disrupt a virus? It's an alien in your system. You don't know how to deal with it because you don't have a reference point. It's new to you. The answer is simple. Hack the system. Hack yourself. Hack yourself in order to disrupt the virus. Change the playing field. Change the internal rules so the virus loses control, has nothing familiar to latch onto. For the first time in a very long time, I was excited. I was on fire. This was the way out. The rest was trial and error, and I made a lot of errors, time after time. But I was driven because I knew that this was the way out. To hack myself, I had to devise a hack. I'm not a computer system, of course, so I had to devise a human hack, but the principles remained the same. After much trial and error, I found the first hack. It got me moving away from this mess faster than anything else had in months. but it wasn't enough. I realized I needed more than one hack to beat this. This is a complex virus and you need to hit it from various angles. This is precisely why all that advice online didn't help. Tips are like pebbles, and you can't beat a complex virus with pebbles. You need torpedoes, not pebbles. Torpedoes that you can fire at this one after the other. Powerful laser targeted torpedoes to totally and utterly demolish this thing once and for all. So I came up with another set of tests. It took me time, but finally I had my second hack. And at last I was able to take back control of my mind. I can't tell you how incredibly empowering that is. But that wasn't enough either. So I carried on. There was no stopping me at this point. I was willing to keep developing and testing hacks for as long as it took. I just thought, beating this virus is all that matters. And that I did. It took me many attempts and a lot of time, but I finally did it. When I was done, my life changed in so many ways. The confidence, the new me, the new understanding of how to build qualities that attract the opposite sex. I hadn't been trying to do any of that. Those things were just bonus side effects. You can't really go through these hacks without changing at the end of it all. My next thing was to document the process. I'm used to documenting projects anyway, so it felt like the natural thing to do. But I also had something else in mind. I wanted to help other guys out there who were where I was back when I had to go through this. That's how empowered and confident I felt at the end of this. I finally distilled everything down to 7 hacks. The most powerful hacks that, when stacked one after the other in the specific order that I teach, help me beat this thing once and for all. These hacks are my torpedoes. I strongly believe that these 7 hacks are all you need. You should have to deal with this only once, not spend weeks and months searching for scraps, for disjointed pieces of advice here and there from a million different people. These 7 hacks are a system, a systematic way to deal with this. This is my way out, and I've never looked back. With my newfound confidence, I went on to meet a fantastic woman, and today I'm happily married. Now, I know that I can help you, but I also know that you may be skeptical. When I was going through this, I was sick of trying things that didn't work. But this is different, and the best way for me to prove it to you is to give you one of my hacks so that you can experience it for yourself. So as a gift, I'm going to give you hack number 1. Take the hack, get some quiet time, read it, and then put it to work. You don't need to go anywhere special to make this hack work, and you don't need to buy anything either. This is something you are going to do inside your mind. My hope is that it will help you. You will then be in a powerful position to make an educated decision on whether my hacks are right for you, and hopefully you'll join us at Manpower Blog. In the meantime, download the first hack and go hack yourself. Trust me on this.